Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Let's learn with Lizzie. Today we've unlocked one of the most powerful scoring skills in your English board exams, analytical passage writing. Many students fear graphs and charts, but I promise you, once you understand the method, this becomes one of the easiest full mark question. Think of yourself not as a student, but as a data detective. Your job is to observe, interpret, and present facts with confidence and clarity. In this video, we are going to focus on the questions like what is an analytical passage, how to read data visuals, what are the vocabularies and expressions used in the analytical writing, what is the format, steps, mistakes, and sample answers will be given in this video. So, what is an analytical passage? An analytical passage is a factual paragraph that interprets, compares, and analyzes given data presented in the form of a bar graph, line graph, pie charts, tables, maps, or diagrams. The writer does not give any opinions. The passage is based only on the given data. Imagine someone hands you a graph full of numbers. Your task is not to guess it, not to imagine, but to observe carefully and explain what the data actually shows. This is analytical writing. No personal opinion, no storytelling. Only facts, trends, and clear explanation. Precision is your strongest weapon here. An analytical passage aims to compare two or more sets of data, identify trends, changes, and patterns, highlight increases, decreases, and stability, shows proportions, preferences, and variations, present data clearly in words. It tests observation, interpretation, and clarity of expression. Why do boards test this? Because analytical writing shows whether you can think logically, can you compare, can you identify patterns, can you communicate them clearly. These are life skills, not just exam skills. When you master this, you are learning to analyze the world around you. Sometimes you will get a single graph, sometimes two visuals to compare, sometimes data across years, months, or days, sometimes categories like age groups or preferences. So don't memorize your answers. Understand the approach because adaptability wins marks for you. A strong analytical passage is objective and factual, uses appropriate data vocabulary, makes relevant comparisons, summarizes key trends, avoids the repetition, and is well structured and concise. Remember that a top answer is calm, clear, and confident. It doesn't panic over numbers. It highlights key trends, avoids repetition, and stays very formal. Each line must reflect observation, not imagination. Remember, examiners reward clarity, not complexity. Words matter a lot. Saying many is weak. Saying a majority is strong. Saying went up is ordinary. Saying a sharp increase was observed sounds precise. Vocabulary is not decoration, it is authority. Use it wisely here. So, there are some frequently used expressions which include all, almost all, a majority or a minority, as many as, fewer than. You can pause the video and take a screenshot of the slide for future references. In order to avoid confusion, divide vocabulary into four groups: upward trends, downward trends, time phrases, and fluctuation descriptors. Once these are in your toolkit, describing any graph becomes systematic and effortless. When numbers rise, show that raised confidently, climbed steadily, witnessed significant growth, rose sharply. Notice whether the increase is gradual or sudden. The detail impresses the examiners. A fall in data must be described just as precisely as the upward trend. Avoid casual languages. Say declined gradually, dropped sharply, or experienced a steady decrease. Formal tone immediately improves scoring. Time expressions are the glue of your analysis. Remember, without them, your writing sounds scattered. Phrases like over the period, between 2019 and 2023, or towards the end of the period, create flow and logical continuity. Fluctuation and stability vocabularies are quite common. Not all data moves very smoothly. Sometimes it fluctuates, stabilizes, peaks, or plateaus. Words like fluctuated, remained steady, reached a peak, or leveled off show maturity in analysis. This is where good answers become an excellent answer. Never write randomly. Follow the golden structure: heading, introduction, body, and conclusion. This gives your answer clarity and professionalism. Structure itself earns mark for you. Your heading is your first impression. Make it precise and meaningful. One clear line can set the tone of the entire answer. In just one or two sentences, tell the examiner what the visual shows. Identify the chart type, set context. For example, the given bar graph illustrates the percentage of students choosing different sports in a school. So make sure that the introduction is one or two line long. Mention what type of data it is showing and identify the type of visual. For example, whether it is a graph or a chart or a table. And if you follow these instructions, surely you can bank full marks in the analytical passage. Now, moving on to the body. Here is where your analytical skill shines. Compare, interpret, highlight trends, mention peaks, discuss declines. Don't dump numbers, explain them. Make the data speak. You see, you have to be very careful in explaining the body because you should explain the data in detail. Compare categories of time periods, highlight major increases or decreases, use appropriate vocabulary, maybe divide into two short paragraphs if needed. Avoid listing raw numbers without any explanation, like don't use that in this year. The data was 20% and the next year it went 30%. Explain the reason why it is 20 in the decreased form and why it increased in the next year. That is going to add more standard to your answer. I hope it is very clear. And finally, you have to conclude your analytical passage. That is like a takeaway. What overall trend emerges? Growth, decline, or stability? Say it clearly and confidently. Never introduce new data in the conclusion. So make sure all the data are explained in your body content area. So the conclusion summarizes the overall trend, gives a final observation, does not introduce new data. For example, overall, the data shows a steady increase in participation with minor fluctuation. So this is literally summarizing the whole content. It's not giving you any new informations or data or numbers in the conclusion. Make a clear note about it. Then important points that you have to remember is read the question carefully, identify the main trends first, make only relevant comparison, do not add personal opinions, do not include outside informations, avoid repetition and support every sentence with the data. And remember, precision is power in analytical writing. So, what are the common mistakes that you have to avoid? That is, common traps include storytelling, copying numbers blindly, exceeding word limit, or using informal language. These mistakes cost easy marks. So here is one sample given to you all. In the following table, we are having the details about the different internet activities for 6 categories of people according to different age groups. Study the table and write an analytical passage based upon it in about 100 to 120 words. Take a moment to observe the table. And now notice how the sample introduces the graph, identifies trends, highlights a peak, mention decline, and conclude overall growth. This is exactly the flow you should aim for. For example, the given table suggests the internet activities of 6 age groups ranging from teens to those in their 70s for 6 different kinds of activities on the internet. So basically, this is the introduction. The table shows the younger generation is more interested in online games and news, whereas the older generation spends time on internet in order to research and buy products. So this is setting the trend. It is evident from the table that 81% of the teens mainly use the internet for playing online games, and many are also interested in news and downloads as well as in buying products. The middle age group, that is people in the age group ranging from 20s to 60s, is highly interested in getting news, doing product research and buying products, with the percentage ranging from 70 to 80. So see here, we are using the vocabularies for time lapses. Percentage ranging from 70 to 80%. The internet activities which gets the least time in searching, it is the decline vocabulary. The least time is searching for people. All the age groups spend less than 30% of the internet time on the same. The amount of time spent on downloads decreases with age and gets as low as 6% for the people in the 70s. So it is actually setting the trend where the trend is declining trend. Overall, so finally we are coming to the conclusion area. Overall, the table suggests that teenagers are most likely to spend time playing games and doing downloads. On the other hand, we are comparing both the categories here. On the other hand, older people on an average are interested in researching and buying products. It is also significant to note that people spend the least amount of time when it comes to researching for other people online. I hope the analytical passage is very clear to you. If you have any doubt and need a detailed annotation for the analytical passage, kindly ping me in the comment section. I will work on the video in future. So now moving on to the mark section. So marking schemes are usually coming from three areas. First is the format, then content accuracy and expression. Balanced performance in all three areas ensures maximum scoring. Don't ignore any component because the format and organization is going to bang you 1 mark. The content accuracy and coverage of the content is going to bang you 2 marks. And finally, vocabulary and expression is going to get you. So neat presentation and clear structure improves the score. Remember, all three areas are very important. Format and organization, content accuracy and coverage of topic, vocabulary and expressions. So here comes the final exam tips and strategies for you. Practice regularly. Memorize key vocabulary. Plan before writing. Maintain formal tone and always revise your answers. Confidence comes from preparation. Remember, graphs don't score toppers, they guide them. Observe carefully, think logically, write clearly, and full marks will follow. You've got this. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked this video, kindly hit the like, share, and subscribe button. See you in the next video.